Well, for some odd reason, my screen is not showing properly here in OBS. Let's see what it does when I am over here. Okay. It's showing up right on the screen up there. That's all I care about. And let me see if I can mute this. There we go. Okay, so we have begun. And let me go to chat here. Wood Burning Warrior, hello. We're going to give it just a second here. I've got a few things to go over before we get started, so it'll be sort of right here at the, let me look up here at my camera. It'll be right here sort of at the beginning for when people come in to watch it later. I have my Pocket 3 set up here. I have my laptop set down here, so you'll see me looking down here to see the chat. Sewing a nightgown. How exciting. Gary, hello. Charleston, South Carolina. Good to have you with us. I wasn't really sure how many people would show up on a Saturday afternoon, but it was the best day I had to do this, and I try to stay away from Saturday afternoons if I can. So I'm going to go ahead and go over a few things. There's just a few of you here in the live stream right now, but I wanted to go over a few things for the recording later, so that people who are watching will get this information up front in case they choose not to watch everything, and then we'll go back over it. At least I'll remind everybody to go back to the beginning here to hear it later. One of the things that I've done differently today on this live stream, and this came from my friend Ron Durant, because people were getting interrupted with ads and some people were getting a lot of ads during the live stream, I've turned monetization off. So hopefully you won't receive any ads during this live stream. Once we're finished and it goes into the recorded mode to see online later, I will turn monetization on then. But I wanted the live stream to go as smoothly as possible. Angel, hello. Pam's good to see you. Let's see. From the West Coast. Well, you're early. Okay. The other thing that I want to go over, and it's a touchy situation, and I've got myself into sort of an embarrassing situation, and that's with affiliate videos. So as you know, the videos that I do that have affiliate links, any of the money from those videos, from the affiliate link, that any money generated there, goes into an escrow account that I keep to finance the aspiring content creator, small content creator, new content, whatever you want to call it. I think I'm going to officially title it the Aspiring Content Creator Grant. And right now the affiliate link for Mint Mobile, that there was a little ad that I put inside the video on what YouTube paid me for a year. Mint Mobile has already paid out some money from that, so I have money now. My promise was that even if I didn't raise $500 through affiliate links, that I would add my own money to at least get to $500, or to get to the next $500 if we earn more than that. So I do know that we have money in escrow so that next June we'll be able to do this again. However, through some really bad timing on my part, I have several videos that I have to do, and they have to come out relatively soon. They're all sort of on a timeline because they're brand new products. And so what I've decided to do, rather than interrupt my Tuesday, Thursday programming, I'll continue to do regular videos Tuesday and Thursday, And while I move these affiliate videos out of the way, they're basically review videos, so they will be all about that product. I'm going to put those on Saturday. And then, if you see something come up on a Saturday, you're going to know this is a commercial kind of thing. If you don't want to watch it, don't feel like you have to watch it, unless it's something that you're obviously interested in. So here are some things that are coming up soon, just so you'll know. As you know, during my 2-day camping trip, I had a problem with the solar panel with the Ice Cold refrigerator, and they've reshipped that. It'll be here soon, and I will do a camping video with that solar panel, and it will be one of my regular videos. I promise it won't be a commercial. It will just be, here we are. Is it working? Let's go look at the campground. Let's go have some fun. But I do have 3 that are going to be coming up pretty soon. One is a Ruco mini drone. I have always wanted to add a drone to my photography channel, and when this opportunity came up, I said, ship me the drone. I can already tell you it's probably not going to work for what I want. I'll talk about that in the review video. Not that it's not a bad drone, but I don't think it's going to work for what I want. And then a company called Oops, O-U-P-E-S, Oops, has sent me a power station. So, I talked about in the camping video of going 2 days camping and had to cut it short. I talked about the fact that I might have to get it like something like a Jackery 1000. Well, they've sent me a battery that's brand new to them that is a little more powerful than the Jackery 1000, and it's about half the price. So I'll be looking at that pretty soon. And then a company called Hovsco, who I'd never heard of, offered to let me try out a foldable, portable, battery-operated bicycle. And I'm like, how cool is that? So it's in a box in my living room, and I'm going to do that video as well. So those will be posted on a Saturday outside of what I'm normally doing. I don't want people to get the idea that I'm just going to go to all commercials, but these 3 items just sort of hit all at one time, and they all have deadlines. I get about 10 to 12 at this point, 10 to 12 offers a week to my channel. And most of them I'm just like, I'm not interested, thank you very much. But these were interesting to me, and so I thought that I would go ahead and try it. And then just sort of as an update as well, I think I had mentioned in, maybe it was in the video on what YouTube paid me for the first year, that my chuck roast cooking video had finally fallen out of first place. Wrong. In the last 28 days, that video has still gotten 28,000 views. Good Lord. It's now the 3rd most watched video on my channel. And also, just looking at the last 28 days, my first night of car camping was my 2nd most watched. The 2 days of car camping was my 3rd most watched. That decluttering, how do you declutter 35 years of stuff? The original video that now has over 1 million views. It got 9,000 more views in the last 28 days. And then what YouTube paid me for the first year has about 8,500 views. So that's just sort of a follow-up with what's happening with the channel. And then I do have an overnight camping trip coming up this week that I will probably include in a video for this channel. And it is basically one of the reasons I designed the car camping stuff for my SUV anyway. I'm going to, one of my grandkids is on a football team this year, and I'm going to drive to his football game, which is over near Franklin, Spring Hill, Tennessee, if you're familiar with Tennessee, south of Nashville. And then the very next day on Friday, I'm meeting Ron Durant in Harriman, Tennessee, and we're going to go to Harriman, Rocky Top, and Clinton to do a day of street photography in some small towns where we'll get some old buildings and interesting things to look at. So rather than drive home 2.5, 3 hours from the football game and then drive another 2.5, 3 hours to meet, or a couple hours anyway, to meet Ron, I'm going to drive to Harriman on Thursday night and camp in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, and then enjoy a Cracker Barrel breakfast the next day. So that kind of overnight camping, that stealth camping, not in a campground. I don't need the awning pulled out. There won't be any chair to set up. It's just pull in, let's go to bed. The next morning I might make some coffee because Cracker Barrel doesn't open till 7. But that using the car that way for a photography trip is probably 90% of why I did this to start with. So anyway, that's coming up. That's all of the announcements I have. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, the battery thing, I haven't even pulled it out of the box yet, and I'm already very impressed. So, I think there'll be some interest in that. Not so much sure about the foldable electric bike. But if I can get the video done, I might take it with me on this trip and use it after I leave Ron behind and I'm somewhere else. I may take it out and go scout around a little bit. So anyway, I build this live stream as sort of an opportunity to talk about Ely Cathedral and my trip to England. If you're interested in that, if you have questions about that. I do have some water today, so hopefully I don't get too parched along the way. As I mentioned before, I used to live near Ely. It was about a 30-minute drive from Beck Row. Beck Row is between RAF Mildenhall and the little village of Mildenhall. So Beck Row is really just a row of houses and maybe a post office. That's about it. And so I've been to Ely Cathedral before, and like I said, I saw these pictures that were posted by a guy on Instagram, and I was just like, you know what, I can't wait. I got to go back. I miss that place. I miss it so much. And I think some of you who have watched those videos have been able to see why I missed it, why it was so special to me. It's just a beautiful place. Yeah, Christine, I don't know if I need a helmet or not. I'm not going to buy a helmet before I take it out and try it, but I may have to have a helmet. Legally, I may have to have a helmet. I don't know. We'll see. It's like the drone. I can't fly the drone here at the house because I'm in the circle of the flight path for the airport. So I'm not allowed to fly there without permission. The drone is a mini drone, so it doesn't require a license. And I have a spot that I'm going to go to this week and try it out, see what happens with it. So yeah, the trip to England was really, really nice. Again, it was one of those things where I had some Chase points to buy the plane tickets, and I had some American Express points to get the hotel. And it is one of those things where you really need to be careful when you're using points. I was not careful. The hotel that I got in Cambridge was a really, really good deal. Where normally, if you're familiar with points, reward points at all, Hilton points are worth about 60 cents a piece, where normal credit card points are worth a penny. So anytime you can get something where you're getting more value than that, you're getting a pretty good deal. And in the hotel in Cambridge that I stayed at, which was the Fellows House, it's a fairly new hotel. It's a boutique hotel. I got a free upgrade because I have Hilton status through my credit card. That was a good deal. I wound up getting about 3 cents per point, where they're worth about 0.6 cents per point. So that was a pretty good deal. And then I just sort of as a reflex action booked this hotel in London for the night with points without really paying attention to what I could have bought it with dollars. And I did not get a good deal on that. I wish I had just paid for it with cash, because the hotel room was only, it would have cost me maybe $110. And I did not get, I didn't even get 0.6 of a point for the points that I spent. So it was a lesson learned. I shouldn't be so quick to just jump in and say, oh, points, free. I should pay more attention to it, because I wasted some points on that particular hotel. It wasn't a nice hotel to start with. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that the e-bike is not, just a safe thing to go around in. And I promise, as I'm doing the review, I won't be on it long. Joe, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was my pleasure to take you. I learned a lot about trying to make videos while I was there, because I was trying to make videos for a couple of videos for this channel, and videos every day for the Life in Motion Diaries channel, and at least one video at Ely, which went live this morning on the photography channel, on the pictures that I took there. And what I learned was, first of all, that's too many. But I wound up not getting everything I wanted for this channel, in the videos for this channel. And I should have made some notes of all the different things that I needed to get done. Because when I got home, it was like, oh man, I didn't even video here. I didn't talk about this. And I was missing some things that I had in my head I was going to do, but they kind of got lost in the shuffle. So when I go to Rome in November, I'll have a better plan. And we'll see if that'll turn out a little better for everybody. Let's see. Hello from Arthur. Where is Tuscola? I don't know where that is. And Puerto Rico. I do know where that is. Jody, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. We're just trying to have fun in life. That's really all we're trying to do, is having a good time. I knew when I retired that I wanted to travel, and taking my family to Scotland was a huge endeavor that cost almost twice what I had budgeted. I didn't care. That we'll never get another trip like that. But at some point I'm going to have to branch out. I know that I'm going to go back to England, because I want to go. I actually want to rent a car and go to Mildenhall and Beckrow, where I used to live. And near there is a little town called Bury St. Edmunds that I would love to go back to. But if I had to choose between Cambridge and Oxford, I would choose Oxford. I think it just has a more rich architectural history, maybe. And, of course, J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and others are immortalized there, so it has a special place for me as an English teacher as well. Okay, so Champaign, Illinois. You really haven't told me a whole lot. Because I don't know Tuscola and I don't know Arthur, but the only Champaign I know is Champaign, Illinois. And you have art there. Excellent. Do you have a website that you can share here in the comments? I'd love to go check it out to see, even if it's just this art gallery that has images of your work. I would love to do that. Yes, the weather definitely worked out for me. I was expecting rain, and I had packed my Patagonia rain jacket and my umbrella. And then I looked at my weather app like the day before I left, and I saw that it was going to be sunshine all week. And I thought, okay, it might rain a little bit, but I don't need a rain jacket. So I just left that at home. And just took the umbrella, which never came out of the suitcase. I didn't need it. First couple of days I was there, it was in the 90s. It was hot. And then it cooled down a little bit for the rest of the week. So, let's see. Central Illinois. Okay, now you've narrowed it down for me. Because you may be aware, I've mentioned on this channel before that I lived for a little while in Rochelle, Illinois. I was really, really young before I even started school. But I had family that lived there for a number of years. We would vacation back there. And I have family in Aurora still. I have some family in Brookport down south. And then I've had family in Rockford. And, so I'm sort of familiar with that area of Illinois. Haven't been there in a long, long, long time. Jody, I saw your misspelling there, but I understood what you were saying. Angel, yes, Oxford is definitely beautiful. I have a video that I'm trying to finish editing for Tuesday of taking the punt boat ride down the river in Cambridge. And it's one of those videos where I didn't get everything I needed, so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually put it together. But if you're ever in Cambridge, that's a really nice tour to take. It lasts about 45 minutes. Chicago, 3.5 hours north. Okay. My mom and dad would travel from Rochelle when we lived there down south to Wynne, Arkansas to visit my mom's family who still lived there. But keep in mind, this would have been the late 50s, early 60s when there was still no air conditioning in cars and only an AM radio. And that is a long drive. The times that I remember taking that trip actually were out of Richmond, Indiana, where we had a station wagon, and I would climb in the back of the station wagon. Sometimes I would be asleep before they pulled out of the driveway. That was my goal, to sleep as much as possible. And I still kind of travel that way. When I'm on an airplane, I try to fall asleep before we take off. It's just easier that way. Jody, thank you very much. My calm demeanor comes across on video. It's not always present. I have been known to not have a calm demeanor from time to time. But as I get older and the fact that I'm not working anymore, that those times are very few and far between. So, but yeah, if you are in the Cambridge area, oh, excuse me, I took a nap, but may not have been enough. If you're ever in the Cambridge, UK area, I highly recommend the train ride to Ely, because it's about 15 minutes on the fast train. It's about 20 minutes on the slow trains, so it's not far. And I think the ticket was around £5 or £6, which is roughly $9 or $10. And from the train station to Ely Cathedral is about a 12-minute walk. It's not bad at all, except that Ely Cathedral is at the top of the island, so wherever you're walking uphill to get there. So just be aware of that as well. New Zealand, is that what I'm seeing? I've got a heart emoji covering that up. Blanche is, I'm assuming that's New Zealand. This must be your winter. Is it winter time there? what does winter look like in New Zealand? Rochelle, I think it's about an hour south of Chicago. I think. So it is very near Rockford, if you're more familiar with Rockford. Jody, thank you for the comment on my video with my mom. My daughters are adamant that I do it again. And they've already started giving me a list of questions to which they want to know the answers. So it was a lot of fun. And I learned some things in that video, some things I did not know. You know, I think growing up, and my mom's probably watching on this live stream, she can comment in here if she wants to, but I think growing up, I spent so much more time around my dad's family because they were closer to us. And I just didn't spend a lot of time around my mom's family because they were so far away. And so I know much less about their family. And one of the things that I was hoping to do with this interview was learn a little more about the stuff that maybe we've never really talked about. So, you know, one of the things that my kids want to know is, you know, how did she and my dad meet? How did she and her second husband meet? And so that's probably where we'll go eventually when we talk about her siblings and growing up with them. You know, you heard a little bit about Ruth, who shared the bedroom with her. They were just basically typical kids. Let's see. Joe, yeah, I'm not beating myself up. It's just, you know, you go a long way and then you come home and you don't have everything you wanted, and it's like, it's not like downtown Chattanooga. I can't go right back and get it again. Let's see. Blanche, cold, getting lighter earlier, so you must be coming out of winter. Okay. Almost retired. Good for you. I hope you enjoy it. Cumberland Falls. Yeah, that's on my list. I'm kind of waiting now for a little cooler weather, a little more rain, because the waterfalls just have not had a lot of water right now. We've been in a drought for forever. So getting back out and doing that, and that's one of the reasons why I put this car camping thing together, is because to go to places like that to shoot waterfalls, you really need to get there as early in the morning as possible before the sun comes up and just blows out the sky. And there's a lot fewer people there early in the morning, so you can get all your photography done before everybody shows up, which is always nice. And so that means I don't have to drive, you know, starting at 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning to get where I'm going. I have not been to Japan. I have a granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, that wants to go to Korea. And I don't know if I'm going to try to plan a trip with her. I would love to go to Japan. I think that it would just be marvelous. I have no earthly idea what I would do when I was there. But it is sort of in the back of my mind. I've got a few more times I need to go to Rome and England, but then I need to start branching out to other places. I mean, that's going to get old after a while, I'm sure. The only other future trip that I have right now, Jody, is the one in November to Rome and Florence. And I was just looking at that today. I've got a couple of tickets I need to buy, touring tickets, like to the art galleries. And it's time to go ahead and buy my train ticket from Rome to Florence and from Florence back to Rome. By buying it this early, it's a lot cheaper than if I wait till the last minute. So I'm going to try to do that. Oh, well, I haven't really talked about it much, Jody, but I did mention it, but I've talked about it in other videos as well. I will be going to Rome. I leave November 3rd, and I'll be there a little over a week. Um, that trip is almost entirely photography related. I'm staying in the neighborhood of Monti, Monti, which is a neighborhood I've been through, but I've never really spent any time there. And my goal basically is twofold. There are a number of churches right there in Monti, about 10, that I would like to go to and photograph. But then there's also a church nearby that has the artwork of Caravaggio on the calling of Matthew, the inspiration of Matthew, and the martyrdom of Matthew. And I really want to see that art. And then I'm going to Florence for, I think, 3 days. And again, it's mainly photography. So I have a couple of places in mind that I want to go to. And then when I come back to Rome, the day before I fly home, I have a tour of the Vatican museums with the Keymaster. Now that is not a cheap tour. It's a once in a lifetime thing for me. They take about 10 or 12 people, I think. It starts at like 6:30 in the morning, and you go in with the Keymaster and a guide, and you literally turn the lights on and unlock all the doors. So you are there before even the early tourists show up. You are there and done. And so to be able to be there when the lights come on in the Sistine Chapel, and to be there with only 10 or 12 people, I'm really, really stoked about that. It's a bucket list tour for me, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see. Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice to meet James Murphy. And we had talked a little bit online before then, and I'd watched his videos. I subscribed to his channel. He subscribed to mine. And when we sat down and started talking, there's just a lot of our history that's very similar. And the reasons for starting our channel are very similar. Now, we've gone a very different direction, but I really like what he's doing. And he's picked up a few subscribers from people who subscribe to me, so that's really nice. Croatia and Bosnia. I would love to go to that part of the world. I don't know about specifically those countries, but I would love to go to that part of the world. Again, the history there, the architecture there, and let's be honest, the food. I mean, come on. If you're going on a trip, you got to eat the food. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Am I trying to avoid the election? No, I will make sure I vote before I go. But maybe avoiding all of the news about the election will be nice. And then as far as the interviews go, the talk I did with Ron was really nice. I did an interview with Ron, and I did an interview with Phil Thatch, and one with David Sailors over on my photography channel, which was a lot of fun. And the next time I interview my mom, I may set it up more like that than I did with the setup for this last video. Wasn't really happy with the way it was with us looking at each other from two different angles. So I got to work on that. But it was worth a try anyway. Leona. Everybody say hi to Leona from Leona's Creative Endeavors. Let me just tell you, Leona is eating YouTube alive. When we did our interview the other day, she had just crossed about 1,000 subscribers, I think. And I think that's what I put in my video. And then I went online and looked again. And where are you at now? You're 1,500 subscribers now, I think. I mean, the numbers are they're just going up by leaps and bounds. And I'm very, very pleased with how things are working out for her. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the election. I'm just going to tell you that I will vote. And that's all I'm going to tell you. I do post some stuff occasionally, my political views, on other locations other than this channel. And sometimes some people find them. And if you agree with me, and if you don't agree with me, and that's fine. That's what it's all about. I don't, nobody has to think like me. Good God, that would be really, really boring. Where are we at here? So we have the other channel, Simply Clutter Free, I think is the channel that she goes by, and 1,600 subscribers. See, there you go. Now, to be honest, because this is what I did. Are you watching the watch hours like every day? On my photography channel, I just watched them go up and up and up, and it took a few months, but they finally got there. Let's see, Joe. Let's see. I've lost my train of thought, Joe. Where are we meeting? Because if I'm ever there, we will definitely get coffee. Let's see. Jody, I'm not even going to comment. I've learned my lesson. The big thing right now is my countdown app tells me that I have 71 days until I go to Rome. And I'll be honest, I was so anxious to just go, which is why I planned this trip to England on the spur of the moment. I was like, I've got this trip in November, and I don't think I can wait till November. I try to plan my trips sort of in an off season, and maybe when it's not quite so hot, maybe not quite so cold. Hotel prices are better. Airline and the trip in November was really built around when are the cheapest flights I can get. And the month of November was pretty cheap all the way through. So if you're looking to go to Rome and you've got the time and the inclination, go look on Google Flights and look at November. And if there's a flight out the week of the 3rd, look me up. I'll be there. Let's see. Your 16-year-old grandson. How cool. Oh, you're in Kentucky. Oh, yeah. The Bourbon Trail is on my list. So keep a lookout because I may actually go up there. Jody, how do we celebrate Christmas? Well, it's sort of morphed over the years, but what we've been doing of late, because all of my kids now have kids. Well, 2 of them have kids. Sarah didn't have any kids yet, but and so it used to be that we would all get together on Christmas Eve, and we would each choose. I think it may have started as the smallest present to open, but then I think it just kind of went to just one present. We would open on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we would have breakfast and open presents, and Christmas Eve was kind of the big meal maybe. But when the grandkids came along, I knew it was important for them to have Christmas at their house. And fortunately, the ones with kids, Elise and Brittany, they live close enough that driving over on Christmas Day is not a major ordeal. Sarah comes in a little earlier than that because her husband's family is here, and she's got a lot of extended family here as well. And so she's already here. So what we do now is we have a prime rib roast for dinner. That's typically our main meat that I'm responsible to cook. And everybody sort of brings a dish. And even though we've told my mom not to fix anything anymore, she usually has 5 or 6 things that she's made. And everybody loves it, so I'm not going to complain. And then we open presents after that, and then most of the time they will come back by maybe for breakfast the day after Christmas, and then people start thinking about going home. So that's basically Christmas. We do all get together as much as we can on Thanksgiving as well. I don't know how much longer that's going to continue, but right now we all try to get together on Thanksgiving. Angel, yeah, I mean, listen, I understand. I almost got caught up in that in the last live stream, and I was like, oh, I've already said too much. But I understand that if the country is divided almost evenly down the middle, my subscriber base is probably also down the middle. And I just think that politics is, while it's important, it shouldn't be a dividing thing between us. It just shouldn't. And so I just choose to keep my mouth shut and try to be as welcoming to everybody as possible, and hopefully everybody gets along. And this was one of the reasons that I wound up ultimately leaving Facebook. I've talked about this before, but I posted some of my political thoughts, and they were generally sort of moderate, down the middle. I've got friends that think this, I've got friends that think this, and somewhere in the middle we ought to be able to find some consensus. That was most of what I posted. And people didn't really attack me. They started attacking each other in the comments. And I was like, you know what? I gotta leave. So that part of my life, thankfully, is over. Let's see. Linda, I cannot even begin to express the immense joy that I had being in Ely Cathedral. I'd only planned 2 days there, 2 mornings there, and I wound up having to go back to Ely a 3rd day because they were closed the 2nd day I was there because of some damage. And it really gave me an opportunity to see Ely, which I had really never done before, because every time I drove over there, I just drove and parked at the cathedral and went to the cathedral and went home. And the town is just lovely. It's just absolutely lovely. I don't think I've been to Salisbury Cathedral. Now, I've been to a lot of cathedrals in England, and I've been to a lot of basilicas and cathedrals in Italy. I don't think Salisbury's. I don't think that's on my list. Yeah. So if this is for Brooke. Heathrow can be a nightmare if you let it. Okay, it can be. But the easiest thing to do at Heathrow is to take a train to get out of Heathrow. And there is a train that goes, there's an express train that goes to Paddington. And so from Paddington, you can get anywhere you want on the underground in London. If you are going to another location, like if you're going to take the train to Scotland, I don't know if that's Paddington or not. You'd have to look on the map and see. But If you're going to rent a car, I would rent it out of near Paddington and get out of London before you try to drive. It's just easier. But that's my 2 cents. Let's see. No, I don't have to do anything special with the health insurance. My credit cards, my American Express Platinum specifically, and one of my Chase cards provides me with health insurance while I'm traveling. It also offers an insurance if I rent a car. Now it's a secondary insurance, so my first party insurance would have to pick up, part of that tab. But if I had an accident or something, there is a card. There is a Chase Reserve, I think it is, that actually, and I'm thinking about upgrading my Chase Preferred to Chase Reserve, and that's one of the reasons why, is because it will be the primary insurance on rental cars. So if I have a wreck, it will just pay it, and my insurance company never gets a claim, and that may be worth the money for me. Going Green Mom. I don't know. I posted a thumbnail a couple of days ago. Maybe you're just not paying attention to my channel. A lot of people don't see those. I don't really know why. They will show up in your subscription feed if you click the subscription button every once in a while to see what's new. They will be there, but a lot of people don't do that. And I'm sorry for drinking and right near my microphone. I'm sure that's really loud. But my throat is getting a little scratchy, so I've got to keep it going here. Good Lord, it's already 10 till 3. How did that happen? I don't even know. If you came in late, there were some news updates I put at the very beginning. So when this video goes back to being a recorded video, if you go back to watch the first 4 or 5 minutes, you'll kind of get a feel for some updates that I made there. Also, just so you're aware, if you came in late, I'm trying something new this time, and that is that I did not monetize the live stream. So there shouldn't be any ads to interrupt you along the way. If there is, please let me know in the comments. Once the video is finished and it's been posted as a recording, then I'm going to turn on monetization. And it's like, well, how much money are you going to lose by doing that? Well, probably 75 cents. So it's just not worth the hassle of making everybody watch videos. So, let's see. I think I'm caught up on the chat. And are there any other questions, comments, things that I need to address before we think about landing this plane here? Closing is always the hardest thing for me because I always think of just like one more thing I need to say. If you haven't seen, if you're not familiar with my photography channel, Tim Childers Photography, you can go to timchilders.bio.link and find all of my social stuff. But my photography video from Ely Cathedral went up this morning, so it's there and available if you want to see the pictures that I took. I'm highlighting the 10 to 20 millimeter ultra wide lens. It was just beautiful for that kind of photography. And then at the end of the video, I've put up several pictures that I just took with my phone. And I was very, very pleased with the phone photography. That was the only cameras I took. That was the only equipment that I took. I took the Canon R6 Mark II and the 10 to 20 millimeter lens, and I took my phone. I didn't technically take a tripod. I used the platypod. So when I go to Rome, I will also take the 24 to 240 millimeter telephoto lens and my travel tripod. because there are a couple of sunrise pictures that I've wanted to take the last 2 times I've been there, and I just have not been able to get them done, and I will need that equipment for then. And I will also take a lot of pictures with my phone. Let's see. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I never turn on Do Not Disturb. I never know when I'm going to really need to be disturbed. So I just don't do that. Occasionally, there's been a couple of times I've left my phone on silent when I went to bed. Not a good thing for me, because I need to be reachable if my mom needs me in the middle of the night. Let's see. Corbin, Kentucky. Well, I know that name. Okay, Joe. When I go to Kentucky, Corbin is going to be on my list, and I'll let you know, because I'd love to stop somewhere and get a cup of coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this thing to a halt. It's a Saturday afternoon, and it's a beautiful day here, and you all should be outside. And Pam, yeah, I appreciate you joining me for coffee every morning. That's very nice of you. I've got everything shot for tomorrow's video. I have not edited it yet, so I have no idea if it's going to turn out. And if I have to go back and do something else different once this is over, I'll know that here in a little while. And I really do appreciate. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would love to do 10 more videos with my mom. She is. I think she's a bigger star on this channel than I am. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to close this thing down. And again, if you were late to the live stream and you want to see all the announcements that came up, probably the first 5 or 6 minutes will get you through that part, and you'll be caught up to date with everything that's going on. And we'll plan another one of these soon, but probably not on a Saturday. So we will talk to each of you later on.